my God, everybody, hi. I would like to say I'm not doing this show alone. Danny was here and she like just magically disappeared right when we were about to go live. Um, she said that she'll be back, but we all know that she's a liar. She tends to do that from time to time and make things up. So I think that before, oh man, she's back. Never mind. I was gonna say I think we should get around. We should all stand around and say terrible things about her until she shows up. But unfortunately, she had really good timing. We're not going to do that. Hey, how's it going? Oh, hold on. Hey, how's it going?
Guys, can anyone hear me? This is freaky, and this is the work of Chris Jericho. Okay, I'm being silenced.
Were you
Not
silent?
No, I'm being silenced, and it's weird because I hear myself, but I can hear an echo. It's fucking weird. I hate it. Anyways, hi audience, if there's anyone watching, since it's fucking 11 p.m. God damn it! What the hell?
Danny, it is. We're not even 2 minutes into this, and you've already let off so many nasty words. What happened to hello? My name is.
Well, no, because in the middle of me joining, you're like, "Oh, we was all talking shit about you." Okay, then fine.
But we never started. It never happened.
Okay, pretend I'm not here. Go ahead.
What is I gonna say? I'm gonna be honest. Unfortunately, I find you really funny, and I laugh at your jokes too much to like really say anything like really bad. Like you texted me something yesterday, and I have been yeehawing it about it all day. Like when you,
what did I say?
It was the So I tweeted a question yesterday about like what are 3 songs you would play for aliens, you know, and there was so much said during that conversation. Shout out to Jalen and Chloe. I'm not sure if they're watching tonight. But there was so much said, like, I was talking about hip hop specifically. You're echoing.
I don't understand.
Just, but yeah, we were talking about hip hop, and I said, yeah, like I said, what's an appropriate amount of hate to send up, to space? And you were like, I think we should send it all.
All of it.
All of it. Like
that's an accurate representation of humanity.
Yeah. And for some reason that really made me giggle. Like I tried to imagine aliens listening to No Vaseline.
That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. I'm like, yeah, correct. This is like, who we are as a people.
I think that'd be fun. I think it really keep the people going. There was another moment when, like, what was it? Chloe had said, yeah, we got to play these Whitney Houston songs. And I said, like, I don't know if we should play Whitney Houston for aliens, because then we got to tell them that she's dead. I think that
she ain't got no business being dead.
She ain't got no business being dead.
You want to dance?
Same thing. Like, imagine somebody's playing like Luther Vandross for you for the first time, right? And then they tell you about that. There's no more where that came from.
If you had to, I'm retracting my question. Is there still an echo for you guys? Be honest.
It definitely is.
Oh, that's okay. Why didn't you say anything?
I thought it would go away. Oh, you just muted yourself. Oh. Now you're just talking and miming.
I think we all just need to die. I'm so sorry.
I think that could be an option. But I think that maybe we should explore some others before jumping right into it.
Let me problem solve. Hold on.
Okay. Well, while we're
here, gotta be away. You just keep talking.
Okay. Well, let's mute you for temporarily, while she problem solves. But there's been a lot going on in the world, derogatory. But there's also been a few good things as well. As somebody said in the chat, Angel Reese got traded to the Atlanta.
ATL, ho.
I think that's going to be really fun. Oh, I can hear you now. No echo.
Ignore that though. It's not working.
Okay. Well, you want to be added back? Okay. Hello. Oh, you muted yourself. It says you have to unmute yourself. Okay. Okay. All right. Are we back?
I can hear you.
Okay,
But now
perfect.
I
I
can
can hear
hear
you.
the echo.
Okay, yeah, it's echoing again.
I'm killing myself.
Okay, how about we just? You want to just? I was gonna say, do you want to just go voice only or?
No, we're old school today, folks.
Oh, back to the phone. Oh, you tried to use the laptop.
Yeah, because I've never had an issue with it. I don't know why it's been like that today. But
Well, we got to go back to
anyway,
the G.
back to our roots.
Back to our
I'm
roots.
getting too big for my britches.
What else happened other than the Angel Reese trade? Um, the Euphoria premiere happened. Um, I'm actually planning to watch this season just because for a completionist sake. You know, like I just don't like leaving things unturned. Um, what else is going on? Oh,
I've
mine,
never seen
y'all.
that show, so Godspeed to you guys.
I was really into it in college, and then like when season 2 came out, I actually threw a Euphoria watch party because my birthday fell on a Sunday that year. My 24th birthday fell on a Sunday, so Euphoria Sunday. So I threw a Euphoria watch party for my 24th birthday, and it was really fun.
Sure.
Okay.
I just, you know how I am. I have two main issues with Euphoria. One is that I don't like watching TV shows about people that are supposed to be younger than me. I don't know why. It makes me feel like I like existential dread, like I am dying, like I'll never have that part of myself again. And the other part is just straight up like I typically don't like to enjoy things as the rest of the world does. I do yearn to be different. I do yearn for some reason to stand out and oh, she's so different. She's never seen any of that. But most of the time it just didn't interest me. Like I was like, who cares about these random teenagers on drugs? Like I don't care.
I will say, Euphoria is one of those shows like it legitimately scared me for a minute, but by the time we got to season 2, I kind of really locked in with the crazy. But first season it definitely it was kind of like, ooh, clutch my pearls. But I grew up watching HBO shows, so obviously you know I've never been too weirded out by just about anything. Like I was watching plenty of HBO shows I had no business watching from such an early age. But I got into
I
huh?
no, I was going to finish.
Oh, you're frozen. I got into Game of Thrones. Danny's not having a good day, I will say.
It's Jericho's fault.
Yeah. Oh yeah, people want to talk about the moon. So that happened. The moon mission has been beautiful. Guys, I watched some of that footage like 2 nights ago and just sobbed myself to sleep. And I was literally crying, and I'm just like, humanity is so beautiful. We're capable of so much kindness, and just like hearing them name that crater after that man's dead wife. It did something to me. It did something to me, and also, like the black man talking to his family, telling them that he loved them from the moon. And it's something just seeing like this black family waiting for him. Like it just, I saw his dad go on CNN and talk about how proud he was. And I said, guys, this is what I want my
fucking me up.
This is what I want my
It's
text.
fucking me up bad. And I feel like when you're looking at it and you're like having a sense of like actually like no, that's the furthest humans have ever gone, like ever. And everything you've ever known or loved is in this picture. That's
And it
crazy.
was
Everything that's ever existed is in this picture.
correct. And I think also too of just like there's a there's a quote from, it's not Harry Potter. Where's this quote from? I'm trying to remember. What was it? Um what is grief if not love
Love
persisting?
persevering.
And like
Yeah.
it's just kind of like grief, love, family traveling across the stars, out of this world. Grief traveled, like, like love traveled. And it's just kind of like, wow, like it's really limitless, right? Like it makes you genuinely want to cling to people around you and tell somebody that you love them. Oh,
And
yeah, it's from WandaVision. Thanks, guys. Thank y'all. That's from WandaVision.
like the thing is like that crater, man, that really stuck with me because that is forever. Like that is such an act of love. Wow, this is the biggest moment of my life, one of the biggest moments in humanity. And guess what? For the rest of forever, when scientists talk about this new thing that we've discovered, they're gonna talk about you. Like
Carol.
that is Carol. I'm
I think
like
also too,
I'm
just
not well.
like his story of just he lost his mom and his wife within 1 month of each other in 2020, which was a hard time for us all. And like they had daughters, and so like just imagine like your mom being memorialized forever, like for on the fucking moon.
And I know like at least like I'm one of those people like I don't to be talking to the moon all the time. And so like to like look up and talk to the moon and that like like I can't. I really can't. We have to.
Yeah, I've always had a real attachment to space. I've loved space and astronomy growing up. I had a brief moment when I wanted to be an astronaut, and they said like astronauts can't have high blood pressure, and at the time I had high blood pressure, and so I got disqualified from that. But like even to like in my apartments and stuff like that, I've had like a huge moon tapestry that I will have over my bed. I'd have moons all over the walls. Just like I've always loved the moon specifically and the stars and constellations. Like one day, like whenever I get like my dream place, I'm going to like literally buy a telescope and just stare up through the stars all day. What?
I have a telescope that was gifted to me a couple years back, and it is oh my god! And like I don't know, I brought this up before on this show. Transcendentalism and Ralph Waldo Emerson have a real profound place in my soul. But the whole idea is like if the stars only came out once every 100. Oh my god, this is truly like there are forces of evil working against me tonight. But like if the
No,
stars
that was
only
actually
came
me.
out,
I accidentally did that. Sorry.
nigga, you are the evil. But if the idea is the stars only came out every once in a while, it would be the biggest deal in the world. But since they come out every night, we don't appreciate them. And when I first heard that, I was like, oh my god. And I was like, I have to look at this. I have to look at the stars every single night, every single fucking night. Um, and I do. Now, the thing that stopped me from being an astronaut, math.
Fair.
I am
Absolutely
like
fair.
a woman in STEM in every sense of the word except the STEM, like the actual math and science.
I understand you
That's where they
so deep.
lost me.
I have the aesthetic of a woman in STEM, like
Exactly.
of
And
like,
the
and
attitude.
and it's crazy because I've been following all these girls who are like physicists who show up to work every day dressed like Barbie, and I think it's so cool and it's so cunt, and I think like I love the aesthetic of it. I just can't do math.
I just can't do the math part.
I can't. I literally can't do math. I
And
did
I knew
terrible
that from a very young age, and that's why I said, oh, work fucking cooked.
I was terrible at physics. I literally
I never took it.
almost flunked bit I almost flunked business calc.
I
Um
never took that.
no, yeah. I so in high school I went as far as pre-calculus cuz that was the highest class that we offered because they we didn't have AP
Me too.
calculus. And then I took business calc in college. And the thing is, oh my gosh, I don't know if I've ever told you this story. So like obviously my degree is in sport and entertainment management, but I was a sophomore when I found out that it was a bachelor of science degree. I thought it was a bachelor of arts because I was like, why am I still in all these fucking math classes, right? I ended up having to take two accountings, one economics. I took a business calculus. I took a what was it? I had to take another introductory math course. And then what else did I take? I took two other math related classes. And I was like, bro, why am I in so many math classes? I thought this was a Bachelor of
And it
Arts,
didn't click.
but I was already halfway through the degree. I couldn't, yeah.
I
So
took I took one online math class before college started, and that was my math requirement. And I said, thank God, because anything else I would have failed.
oh, it was statistics. That was the other ones that I took. So it was
I didn't take
statistics. I
it
had to
either.
take two statistics. And so, bro, I can't. Now, the only math class that I think that I was ever really good at, like I was in honors classes the entire time I was in high school, but I think the only class I was ever really, really, really good at was geometry. I was fantastic at geometry, but
I was
algebra,
so bad at geometry.
algebra, no. But I literally got 100 on my geometry end of course exam, which, but that's the only math related thing I was ever any good at. Everything else,
I literally, I got A's, but I was terrible at it, and I hated math and I hated science, really because I felt like I could argue. Well, I liked science, I just wasn't good at it, but I felt like I could argue my way out of every other subject.
I
Like
agree.
I,
And
you can't
and
do
math
that with math.
was especially like because at USC we had this thing called SI, like supplemental instruction. Math was the only I feel like area where I had to try really hard. Like I had to get a passing grade. I had to go to office hours all the time. I had to go to SI all the time. Like I had to do study groups. No other subject that I ever took a class in did I have to do all that extra work. But for my math classes specifically, I felt like I used to have to go to the moon and back. Derogatory. Um,
I Yeah, no,
what
I
else
enjoyed math
happened?
in college. I don't regret it. And you know what? I really do. I feel like God made the mold of a woman in STEM and then just forgot this to push the STEM button. And so here
Completely
we
agree.
are.
Completely agree.
What
We're,
else
the final four
Oh,
happened this week, and I don't really want to
yeah.
talk about it. You know what? Actually, I do want to talk really briefly about it. USC didn't win, but UConn didn't either, and I think that's enough for me. I can be happy about that as long as it was not Gino.
I
What?
I will say this. I'm a Don Staley fan. So I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I'm rooting for South Carolina in every sport. That's not true. I'm rooting for the
Me
women's
neither.
basketball team. And I
Yeah,
have
me.
been, and my family has been for years.
Hmm.
What I will say is that Gino Oriema is obviously a well respected coach. He's got the most, national championships only because the best coach in women's basketball history died prematurely. But I will say, um, I think that there is some effort to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's been around so long, he's done so much winning. And if you paid attention, Holly Rowe even said before any of this happened, like, no, when his team loses and when they play badly, he will do something or go on some rant to take the attention off of how badly his players played. I think, obviously, looking at this situation, in my personal opinion, it was a combination of wanting to do that and wanting to cause something of a spectacle because that's what you do every year to take the attention and and the heat off your players. But also some real emotions get tied up, and you decided that you were going to. I don't know if you decided or your emotions overcame you. You were going to explode in a way that was unbecoming to you and of your program. and it was absolutely inexcusable. And I'm seeing a whole lot of excuses coming from here, there, everywhere. No, no. Um, it was absolutely, and it made Dawn Staley look like she did something. And you know what? I don't like to give ESPN or anybody their tens ever, but I
when
will
they
give
wrote
you
that,
10
that
for
tape.
airing that footage immediately.
They wrote
Immediately.
that tape.
I'm back. The forces of evil, man. They're coming from Connecticut, from Stamford, and from wherever you got.
Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Uh,
Yeah,
I hate that she had to be the
congrats
bigger
to
person there.
UCLA. They were a better team
Yeah,
that day.
absolutely. And I can admit that. And I just want y'all to know that Dawn Staley takes the high road, and I love that for her. But I will not. I'm
Better.
still mad. I'm about to stand on that forever. It was always beef, but I think also too of just being in town while people are literally losing it, being and while people are losing it after that game, after UConn went down, man, it it kind of felt like a championship almost. It was crazy.
Well, I think especially with this year, because this year's team was not expected to do that. UConn's team, if you look at that team should have beaten South Carolina.
Player
Now,
of the year. South
you
Carolina shouldn't have made it past the Elite Eight.
exactly. So, so that's why I was looking at the championship game and going, well, we can't score, but we were supposed to be here anyway. So, but no, I think, like,
Izzy and
I know a lot of people feel very strongly about Gino, period, and like, I get it. I just think that some of his best players who I like and respect speak so highly of him. So to me, he's just I've just always been very like neutral on him. Like, I don't care. Like, we do have to acknowledge that you've done all this winning, but no, I'm not gonna finna kiss the ring or nothing like that. Like, I'm apathetic towards him.
yeah, I think my perspective is I'm a hater, yeah. But I've never for me, he was never this mythical, unbeatable figure because my first year as I was a freshman in college when USC broke the dynasty, like in 2016 when USC won a championship. And then, from then on, it starts changing up, new winners almost every other year after that point. Like the dynasty broke in 2016. So like I was really fortunate to like be a student during that time. And so shit, I know who my goat is. I don't know what to tell y'all, but I acknowledge what Gino has meant to the sport, but I also think like it's one of those things where Gino, like UConn, is very reminds me a lot of like Team USA basketball and Team US. And who else do I want to say, like WWE, right? Like, and a whole bunch of other like, how do I want to say it, like long-term leaders, to where like people are they get so complacent. They're just like, oh yeah, we win, we are it, right? But in that meantime, what you don't realize is so many other people are getting better. And for a long time, women's basketball literally was UConn, especially after Pat Summitt was out of the picture, right? And Tennessee wasn't like a major player. And just like, look at how the variety of the different types of teams, different teams that have won over these last couple of years, so many people. And I think that's one of those things. And I think that Gino, how do I say, I think he's a winner because he likes to win. I don't believe that he's a winner who ever tried to grow the sport past UConn, and I think like that's the difference of the type of leader he is versus who we see like a Dawn Staley is and all these other people who have emerged.
I don't disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I also
Yeah.
think I think that Gino's best trait is his recruiting. I
Correct.
don't think this might be controversial. I don't think he's ever shown me anything that was just a stroke of coaching genius. It was a stroke of coaching genius?
I completely
Brianna
agree.
Stewart. That's why you want to. That's why you went undefeated before you, because you
Correct.
can recruit. And
Man, you got Maya Moore.
and that is a talent, of course. That is a talent that has won you 12 national championships. But I think on a day like when you played South Carolina, you got out coached and you were
Absolutely.
embarrassed. And you had
And
a better team and you didn't know how to use them. And your team was not ready for the physicality of the SEC for whatever reason. So,
I love her, but AZ, ooh,
that was
your 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 chain fake. On
you're
that
not
night,
you're not coming to my city. I'm so sorry. I
Sarah
was
Strong, Sarah Strong, Player of the Year. Your chain.
no okay. I okay. We
Listen,
could
it was a bad
we
night.
could
Don't
move
get me
on.
wrong. They had a bad night. I'm saying, but I do agree. I think he got out coached. He's always been a great recruiter, and I think that's also the thing. League parity is what we've seen over the last 10 years. There used to be a foregone conclusion. If you were like a top 10 recruit, like a top 10 in your draft class, you were going to UConn for years.
Yeah,
Like of just that automatic. There was no option,
it was just a
And the
cycle.
person
Like they won, so you recruit people. You recruit, and then you win
you
and you
get
recruit.
correct, you get the number one player in the country. The
And the
person who
SEC was not a factor out after Pat Summitt left.
and the person who really broke this was when Asia Wilson committed to South Carolina, of
Absolutely.
being the number one player in the country and deciding to stay home. That really broke the system. And so it is what it is. I love women's sports. I think like it's been really cool to just really see the world be captivated, by women's basketball. I was telling you this, of just like I always grew up in an area where like women's basketball is like the most important thing on earth, and like seeing like every bar, every TV, every people walking down the streets with ESPN on their phone, all for women's sports. Like it there's truly nothing like it, and I hope that everybody gets to experience it. It's really
Which I
affected me so much. Huh?
sorry, no, I was just gonna add, and I think like in Indy, like we were always tapped in. Like we were a family of girls. We watch women's sports. Our big one is softball, but
Mm-hmm.
now in Indy, like the Fever are the biggest thing in the world. Like
Yeah.
of course, and so it's a lot of that same sentiment where it's like, no, like this is you can't go anywhere without knowing that the Fever are playing, without everybody wanting to see Caitlin and Aaliyah and Kelsey, and it's oh shit, we gotta move on. But I'm excited about the thing of women's sports, and one day, maybe next week, I will talk about how I think honestly there's a lot of similarities between women's sports and like the women's division. And what I mean by that is saying like we need to find a balance as an audience
Mm-hmm.
um, between coddling and trying to say, this is okay for this person, this is okay for them. And like I love real negativity. Like let's get active. We need rivalries in order for this to work. Why do you think women's basketball really blew up in the past couple of years? Caitlin and Angel. Like
Correct.
now, I'm not, but on the other end of that spectrum, we cannot go as far as what people went with that. We cannot go straight into the isms and the,
And
all the racism, all
slurs.
of the obias, all of the slurs. No, there's got to be a way to just talk about competition and make things super negative ethically.
I think
But
and allow women to be negative. I think
yes,
women should be allowed to be bitches in the sense of just be like, no, I hate her. Now
I
what?
hate her. That's
I
allowed.
hate her. I hate her. And when I see her, I'm a dog walk her up and down that court. I
Now
think that's so
what?
hot.
And that's the thing. And what upsets me about we will talk about wrestling in a second, but that's what upsets me about like people who are just now tuning into women's sports, and you expect it to either be like the oh we're all family type thing, and then as soon as there's a little bit of competitive spirit, as soon as there's a little bit of no I don't fuck with her, I want to win, like then it's a
Y'all,
whole
I'm from the
different
SEC. I remember when
like
South Carolina and
oh
Mizzou used to start scrapping every time we saw them. South Carolina
yeah
and Mizzou would start fighting all
yeah
the time. They start rioting.
so
Real
yeah,
hate.
that's why I'm like, and y'all acting like this is new. No, there's always been hatred there. You just haven't been watching. Just be honest.
Absolutely. Again, I think that comes with league parity, and I think we're going to continue to see it as these conferences beef up. I think SEC has always been like that, but other people got to get some real. That's the problem. A lot of people don't get no real hate until they go to March Madness. Like we got to keep the hate going all year long. Again, Chloe said it. That's why people loved Queen Aminata. And real hate. Bash her skull in when you see her.
And guys, last thing I'll say about this before we really just talk about Dynamite. If you're not watching college softball, you're missing out. I have been singing these praises for years, but I'm telling you, the SEC, Oklahoma softball, I don't know if they won last year. They won 5 years in a row, undefeated for 3 of them. These people are dog walking. And the SEC, everybody's good. Everybody's great. And nobody can beat Oklahoma. So tune in this year to see if it can actually happen. I don't think so, but what Patty Gasso is building over there is incredible as well. But all the wrestling had a show tonight called Dynamite. Oh, go ahead.
I want to say quickly, I watched the women's Frozen 4, Wisconsin versus Ohio State. And like, bro, that was some of the best hockey that I've literally ever seen. And women's hockey, I've been watching obviously a lot of men's hockey. Like I try to watch at least one Pens game every week. I don't even understand how. I do know how I got into this obsession, but still, I didn't expect for it to stick this long. But women's hockey, I watch these games in the PWHL, which are free by the way on the YouTube, and I'm like, this is peak. Like this is literally peak.
I haven't been able to get into the PWHL, but that is only because I only watch hockey to see them fight. That's the only. I don't.
The girls
care
be
about
scrapping.
The sport.
Do you know that the NHL has had 3 goalie fights this season, and that's more than have happened. I think in the last 6 or 7 years total. Like goalie fights, you know how mad you got to be for at a nigga to go from one edge all the way to the next just to go scrap.
You got all that shit on too, but you know what? I know they're so excited to do that. I know this is the time of their life. This is my moment.
I live for that, right? I like the hate aspect. I've been rooting for the Vancouver Golden Eyes because they have 2 black women on their team, and I think that their jerseys are really pretty. And what I love about it is one of their players, black woman from Canada, Sarah Nurse, she treats every single game that she walks in like it's a fashion show. Like Sarah Nurse be putting that shit on everywhere she goes. She walks all the red carpets in Canada. I think that she's so glamorous, and she's one of the best players on her team. It does something for me. What else happened? I'm trying to think what else happened this week. Oh, I saw the drama. Everybody go see that.
I haven't seen anything.
Okay. Oh my God. Oh, really quickly. I am still continuing my 911 binge. I am currently on season 6. It's actually I have not binge watched a show this quickly in years. Like in years. This is different, right? Like this is absolutely different. I'm hooked. I feel like I'm in an insane asylum, and like I feel like I'm in an insane. I'm going insane.
I told you when I discovered 911, I didn't go to class for a week. I literally did not.
It's so bad. Like no, not bad, but it's like it's so.
It's sometimes it's straight up bad.
I'm bad. Like it's just watching all these things happen. Like last night, right? I was watching the season 5 finale, and the season 5 finale. Buck and Taylor break up, not even. I think no, it's the episode before. So like Taylor comes to Lucy as a woman, right? She's like, yeah, you don't understand. Like she said
all of that shit.
She says like, this is a family for him. Like this is right. And it's just like, so I know Buck sees them, right? So I know Buck sees him. So I'm like, he's going to come over. He's going to get really uncomfortable. He's going to like try to break it up. No, he's actually still there. You're arguing with him. He's in Eddie face. Taylor, you're trying to come to this girl as a woman. You lost. What are you doing here? Then
it's outlandish, truly.
I'm in season 6, and when I watched that episode about Tanya Kingston, when Athena has to go home to her, her parents in Florida, and she finally solves that murder, and the way that Bobby stood up for her,
that's the best episode in the series. The best episode in the series.
I said, "Oh my god, oh my god, this is a family. This is familia.
Truly."
This is family.
Oh, my family.
But I'm determined. I'm going to be fully caught up by the time, because the show comes back on it's like April 30th or something. It's like three weeks. I think I got like 3 weeks before the last 2 episodes air. And so I am determined I'm going to fully catch up by the time that season 9 comes back. So hold me accountable, everybody. Let's talk about wrestling.
I guess. All the wrestling got a shit tonight. It was called Dynamite. We started off with William Peter Charles getting jumped in a parking garage.
And then rolling out his circus. Me and all my best friends, mate, and my lady. Listen, Will Ospreay
and the missus, bro.
Will Ospreay. When it's all said and done, he's going to go down as probably one of the most controversial figures of all time, right? And he's so interesting because I don't know where's the best place to be, with him or against him. Because
the answer truly is neither. Because here's the thing. Like, and we've said this before about William Peter Charles, but like, the people that he brings with him are inevitably going to turn on him in the most destructive ways. It's going to be terrible. He's never once in his life had a clean friendship breakup. Never once. He's always got to die. That's the parameters. But at the same time, if you start off as an Ospreay op, he wants to kill you.
Correct.
And the thing about Ospreay is, like, for better or for worse, there's nothing less than 100. He just doesn't have that.
Modify his style.
About Ospreay's he's really gonna turn it down, like he's not gonna be doing XYZ. That's not in him. That chip did not get activated. And you know what? Like, we talked about it last week, but he has said he's in it for a good time, not a long time. He's here to make this legacy as much as it can be in this limited amount of time. And you know what? I respect it. We see it actively play out, because he pulled up, he was getting jumped. But who did he bring with him? United Empire. I will say United Empire, perhaps I owe you an apology. And You know what? Here's the thing. I have never thought that any of them were bad. I have always, in my head, I've just put Callum Newman, and maybe this isn't fair because Callum Newman is so much younger. Like, we're the same age. Oh my god. Guys, that means I can be world champion. Callum Newman, I'm calling you out. We are going to fight. But I always put Callum Newman in like the Jay White tier, which to me is not a compliment. I don't think incredibly highly of Jay White. So I always put Callum Newman in that same category of like apathetic, and most of the time he ain't got no business being in the places that he's in. Now, I will say, as of recent, I have had to tone down that sentiment. I will be the first to admit
Make
I'll be the
way.
first to admit.
Make way for the
Um,
prince. Correct.
what's like a step above a Jay White to me? What's
Don't do,
like a
don't do that.
oh
Don't
I
do that.
have to now.
You're
What?
being so nasty and so rude. Make way for the prince. And also, I'm going to say this really quickly because you're doing all this. If you watched a single Callum Newman singles performance recently, you would not be saying these things. You just haven't watched it. And so here's the thing. Just say,
That's why I said I
yeah, you're
have recently,
speaking.
which is why I'm shutting my ass up. Because what's in between Jay White and like a good wrestler? What's in between Jay White and like a hooper? What do you think, Lyric?
I think that Callum Newman is great.
That's not what I asked. I said, what is in
I
between Jay
I
White and a great
put him
wrestler?
like I think that Callum Newman is like I put him underneath Kyle Fletcher,
That's what I was thinking.
but not by much. I will put him above Kevin Knight and below Kyle Fletcher.
I would put him alongside Kevin Knight beneath.
The only reason why I say above Kevin Knight is because I think that Callum Newman has gotten more opportunity to lead, especially as a singles guy. I think that he's just had more opportunity, especially, and I think like New Japan being such an open playing field right now, especially for foreigners. I think he's just gotten more opportunity to showcase himself, and so
yeah, it's not a ranking on potential. It's a ranking of now. So I
yes,
understand that.
so I would put him above Kevin Knight and below Kyle Fletcher. That's how I see Callum Newman.
Which, you know what? That brings me to the next thing that we need to address.
Oh, my proto go fuck. They done got
Oh my god, it hurts. Kyle
my
Fletcher.
chest hurt, man.
Now, okay, so the reports and the rumors go back to last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, that he had gotten injured. It's just kind of started to circulate this week that it seems to be serious and that he's gonna have to miss some significant amount of time and have to vacate the TNT title. Guys, I'm not even kidding. It was something like I knew this already. Everybody who's been on Twitter, like, we knew this. When those words came out these people's mouth, on TV, I swear to God, guys, it ruined the rest of the night for me until Kenny Omega came out. There was some other great stuff in the show, including Willow and Aminata, which we will talk about. But I was genuinely so pissed off from after that moment that I was like, oh, what's the fucking point? What is the point?
When people say they fucked the city up with this, that's
they fucked us. Oh my
and I think also too, when you think about how long somebody said, when you think about how long we waited for that belt to become pink, and we just simply did not have enough time with it. We did not have enough time with that proto pink belt.
Just lost somebody. Your best friend, your baby, your man, your lady.
Oh my god. Oh my god, proto goat.
We literally, guys, you don't understand. Like, we fought so
tweeted,
hard for that proto pink.
When he tweeted, it was like he was what he said, like the best TNT champion ever, and like it felt like he was saying, like, did I do a good job, guys? And I was like, yes, you were perfect down to the most minute details. You were perfect. And honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. I kind of don't even really want him to come back as a heel. Kyle Fletcher, I'm gonna be so excited to see you. I can't imagine booing you.
No, you're not. No. And you know what? And when you come back, I know I love the proto pink belt, baby. We fought so hard for that.
I think the proto pink world title would be beautiful. Actually,
that's what I said. But you will have to kiss it goodbye, because when you make your return, we're going straight to the top, girl.
Absolutely.
Straight to the top, diva. Pack lightly. So but genuinely, I was hearing that and I was like, I don't know if I want to go to All In, because Kyle Fletcher truly was somebody that I was looking forward to seeing. And
Absolutely.
we don't know the extent of his injury or the timeline or anything. Like, all that's obviously, super private at this point. But like, if Kyle Fletcher's not there, do I care enough to get on a plane?
I'm gonna be real with y'all, especially if Dynasty, if Kenny Omega is not world champion, Kyle Fletcher not there, and Tony Storm not there. Whoa, brother. Hey, you want me to get on that plane? Come around that curve.
Like
Let's be
if it
serious.
was in my city, of course I'd go. But
You want me to cross an ocean?
international.
However, I do believe I believe that again, Kyle Fletcher is a part of the Kenny Omega learning tree. If I believe he's a real freak,
Truly,
he's a real freak. I believe that he will be back by All In. Now, will he be back for the build? I don't know. Will he return at Wembley? I don't know. I do believe he will be there.
I think so too.
Yes.
I really think, especially looking at this, well, obviously he was a major player and he was, what he was going to do, and we're gonna have to, a lot of things are gonna have to pivot.
We can tell they already. Hey, we can tell they already pivoted. You saw, Don Callis got on the mic today and said, "Here, nigga, damn, fine. We all been complaining about."
That's the thing, though. It's like, yes, obviously we want that Takeshita Okada match, and I'm so excited. Look, y'all can have that match in 6 years, and I still want to see it. So I'm not one, but what I will say is that, like, you have a little bit of an issue because so much of that was about Kyle Fletcher.
But it also shows you how long AEW was going to stall that out, bro. Like,
exactly, but now that's what I'm saying. So
yeah,
now you planned to drag it out. In my opinion, you plan to drag it out to All In and all these different iterations of it. Okay, but now you just lost an iteration of it. So what are you gonna do? So now are you gonna try to drag it out just this way? Because here's the thing, right? Like, without Kyle Fletcher, how interesting is the Don Callis family as a faction? In my opinion, not that interesting. It's a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of role players outside of, Takeshita and Okada. And I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. I'm just saying, as far as storyline, like, that's the storyline is those three and what they got going on, and everyone else is supporting cast to that. So I will be interested to see if they pull the trigger on Takeshita Okada at Double or Nothing, and then we just leave that there, or if they do try to drag this all the way to August without Kyle Fletcher in the middle as a damsel in distress.
Absolutely.
Because what's your story beyond that? What's your story?
And also, too, I think now the pressure is now on Andrade to be like a top player in Don Callis family, which I think that he is, but I don't think that he's as well connected to the other members as Kyle was, which is going to be very interesting. I don't know. But at least, what I can say is the biggest thing I've been worried about recently is Takeshita's direction. I feel like he's been floating. And at minimum tonight, we got some direction. I know what Takeshita's doing at Dynasty. I know what Takeshita's doing at Double or Nothing. And so, you know what? I can live with that. That's all I ask, I do need some direction. But I digress. What else happened tonight? Oh my God, guys, I went to Harry Styles night at a venue this weekend. And I think that was one of my first times hearing so many of those songs in public around other people. And it was so fun. Like, listening to what did I hear? I listened to I Want for the first time around other people. I want, and that's crazy. Music for a sushi restaurant in public. My goodness alive. I listen to Aperture with my eyes closed as I span around in a circle with my margarita in my hand. And that was how it was supposed to be listened to. We
That's,
belong together.
I
Yes.
I forgot what I was gonna say. This was scatterbrained. Oh, I was gonna say about Takeshita. Sorry. Um, I was just gonna say that. Look. Oh, I was gonna talk about that trios match. Um. Oh, first of all, condolences to Brody King.
Yes.
Um, that was obviously a super tragic situation. So sending all the love there. We had Bandito step in. So it's Bandito, Darby, Jack Perry versus Big Soup, Andrade, and Mark Davis.
Correct.
This match was good.
Mm-hmm.
Bandito was great. The match was good. Bandito was great. And that is my next. I will be doing a video next week where I'll be announcing who all of the clients I represent are and what they need to be doing at All In. So I'll write the stories for you, All Elite Wrestling. I've got the plan. I just need
Correct.
platform.
Correct.
But it brings me to my point of Darby Allin.
Honestly,
We don't care.
this is probably what we need to spend the most time talking about because I feel like everything else is pretty self-explanatory, bro. But like,
I got a couple things to get my shit off about, but yes,
y'all, Darby, I get. Here's the thing: he's a great wrestler, and I think like right now, I see people on Twitter be like, "Yeah, I'm sick of y'all pretending like Darby's bad. Darby's bad." No, I think Darby's a fantastic wrestler, bro. And don't get me wrong, some people do in that mindset of just like, okay, they hate Darby, which is, hey, that's their prerogative. Darby's a fantastic, one of the greatest TV wrestlers ever, if not the best, right? However, you can't tell me. You see what this nigga Kenny is doing, bro? And I'm not even just Kenny. Like they doing. You seen these numbers? Kenny versus Swerve doing numbers that AEW hasn't done in years. Years. These quarter hours. Why do you think that they sprinkling him on 3 segments of the show like parsley, nigga?
They gave this nigga half an hour overrun.
What are you doing? Here's the thing. Kenny's not a huge talker. Just much like Darby, Kenny's not a big talker, bro. He's not. When he do speak, the people stand up. Today it was one of those times. But I'm saying this all to say, and it's even actually it's unfair to compare him to Darby, right? Of just this is the god of professional wrestling, right? But I'm just saying in the sense of MJF has been so good recently to where I'm gonna be honest. I think Kenny's the only person who there should even be an argument opened that he could take the title off Max before All In, right? Like obviously Wembley, yes, we know Ospreay wins at Wembley. We know. But before
we all get it.
We get it. We know. But before then, there's nobody else who's worthy of like. And here's the thing: I think what we not gonna do is reheat these pillars nachos from 2021, like MJF and Darby. Like I think that honestly, I think it does a disservice to Max. I think that he would be honestly like, I think it'd be a demotion for him. And I think that Darby just
and for the title itself.
Correct. And I think that Darby had 2 major opportunities to be the guy. And it's not Body's fault. They didn't follow up.
It's not now. And here's the thing, like, I just think, because I think that for as much as I want Kenny to win at Dynasty, it doesn't look like Kenny's gonna win at Dynasty. You don't usually stand over the guy and then go over at the show. Like, it's not rocket science. But the idea of feeding Kenny Omega to MJF and then that belt being in contention with Darby Allin feels absolutely outlandish. Because that's the thing, like you say, oh, like we can't compare, but like borderline, that's what we gonna have to do. Because we're looking at this and we're looking at the lineup of challengers and we're saying, okay, so we're saying Hangman wasn't worthy. We're saying Swerve wasn't worthy. We're saying, you were saying Bandito wasn't worthy. We're saying, Brody King wasn't worthy. we're saying Kenny, by God, Omega wasn't worthy, but you know who is Darby Allin? That's outlandish. That's outlandish.
This
And
version of Darby Allin, not the one
especially because he came back, he's been fucking around with the War Dogs. And today's promo where he cut, where he was like, "Oh, all of a sudden I care." That to me, that is not enough. And that is honestly so emblematic of this whole thing, like top to bottom to me. It was just like, okay, you can't just one day, because he goes up there, he's like, people are asking me like why I care. Actually, I've been scared this whole time. Girl, shut the fuck up. We got grown man shit we have to deal with right now. And if that's something that you actually wanted to explore within that character, then we should have been doing that for the last couple of weeks. We haven't been doing that at all. You've been fucking around with Clark Connors, a gay kid with his grill. What the fuck? What the fuck? I don't. You ain't got no business sniffing that world title. And what's concerning to me is that he is being positioned as, in my opinion, like, I think they're gonna do it. Like, that's what's concerning to me. It's like, yeah, because we've had all these people say, "Oh, I want the world title. I'm gonna get in line. I'm gonna whatever." Like, they got Darby talking like, moving like, acting like he's gonna be the one, and that's why it gets me so heated. Because everybody says, "Oh, I want the world title," and you don't pay him no type of mind. But I'm looking at this and I'm saying, you don't even deserve this current version of Darby Allin. Does not even deserve the main event world title shot, let alone the belt.
No.
And that's honestly, it's not me saying anything crazy about Darby Allin. I like watching him wrestle. It's just what we have said. MJF has been so good that there's nobody that comes to mind that is worthy of this current reign of taking that belt off of him in a way that makes sense besides Kenny fucking Omega. And if you're telling me that we're not going with Kenny Omega and instead we're going with Darby Allin, then oh,
here's the thing, like, bro, and what really pisses me off is that I think that AEW knows that the all-in main event should be Omega Ospreay. And I think what might piss me off more is if you give Darby this here nigga damn reign for a month just to drop it to Kenny, so Kenneth Omega, the founding father of this promotion, can hold that belt for what, a month or two?
That's crazy.
Just so you can say,
just so you can sneak him in there.
You gave it to Darby, of just how insulting. You know, it's just how insulting.
Cut out the middleman. I
and also too of just like, what are we gonna do with a Kenny Omega Darby Allin program? Who wants to see that? I think it'd be a great match in a back room.
Who wants to hear that?
I mean, it'd be a great match in a vacuum, of course, but it's just like, respectfully, neither of these people are like great talkers just to be great talkers. Kenny has to have somebody to bounce off of, right? I think that's why him and Max have worked beautifully together. I just, you know, Swerve is elite adjacent, right? So, you know, they share a boyfriend. They have a lot to talk about.
They do.
There's no history there. What is Kenny Omega and Darby Allin gonna talk about for a 3-4 week build for a pay-per-view?
Not shit. Well, they told you tonight what they're gonna talk about. They told you that they're gonna talk about, I wasn't feeling, I felt insecure because I felt like maybe I can't be the man of this promotion, but then I proved that I am, and I did all this. But mind you, what does that remind you of? What does all of that remind you of? A certain fucking cowboy who did that shit already? You're trying to speed run. That's what it is. You're trying to speed run Hangman in his first world title build. You're trying to give that same personality to Darby Allin to make it a little bit fucking interesting right now. And it's not gonna work. And we already seen it. And then we gotta listen to these motherfuckers talk. I love Kenny Omega down. Y'all know I love Kenny Omega down. Oh, I don't want to see that.
No, and I think also too is just like, out of all the people that Kenny could have won that belt off of, MJF would have made sense, right? Hangman would have made sense, right? All these people would have made sense, except for off Darby. Seriously, like, guys, it's just, I think, and maybe AEW has to blame themselves, you know, for their own booking, in the sense of you backed yourself into a corner. Because you've established that your guys, right, are Hangman, Osprey, Swerve, MJF, and you've gotten all these guys are so interconnected, and you're like, no, but Darby's up there too.
You just tried to slip him in there. Y'all
Like,
tried to
yes,
Jay White this nigga.
like, like yes, they know who he is, but he's not a part of the lore. He's not a part of like we're not.
He
We
doesn't
can't
go
just.
here. No, he doesn't go here.
He's MJF's friend. In the sense of like in the full lore of like all of the AEW top guys. Yeah, he was a pillar
Yeah,
with MJF.
what's his relationship?
Correct. Like he's related to MJF via the pillars, right? Everybody else did this is staff only. Staff only,
It's something that I look at, and like I said, I'm spending so much time with it because I'm like, oh no, like they're
because
really
because
trying
we're
to
watching it happen. Yeah, we're
soften you
watching
guys to the idea of it being Darby. They really want y'all to say, but guys, what if it was Darby? Would y'all be mad? And we talked about this, but like AEW loves to have their real plan and then their emergency backup
Correct.
plan that they want to put feelers out for. And I'm telling you right now, they want to know y'all fucking with Darby because we're gonna do it. So just let me know. Y'all fucking with Darby. Like and the answer is no. Kenny Omega needs to be world champion, and he's not gonna win. And that's to me is just like I look at it and I'm like,
I almost
okay,
didn't
like
buy the pay-per-view, bro. I almost didn't buy the pay-per-view, but I also
I
realized
still
that
may not. I'm
Kenny
looking at
fans,
that and I'm
we
like,
have to buy the pay-per-view. And let me tell you why. It's because if we have any chance of him going to Wembley, we got to be able to prove, yeah, bro. Like you seen these Kenny Omega pay-per-view numbers when he was in the main event. Like we got to. I know it's.
I'm not
Like,
reading numbers. I don't give a fuck about any of that. I
I
just
don't.
think
I'm gonna
like
be honest. I typically don't.
looking at I see your point, but I'm just like looking at this and I'm like, oh my god, Kenny tonight, you could feel it. Oh my god, I felt it in my gut.
It was in my
You
stomach.
could
It was in my
feel it.
stomach. It was in my stomach. Oh my god.
Like, oh my god. And you know what? There's just really there's nobody in the world with motion like that. And you know what? They play MJF little video first. They play MJF video and they're like, oh, he's big, he's a big deal. He's a hot shot, whatever. I was like, oh, that's cute. They start talking about my goat. I'm like, yes,
No,
then what did he do next?
You know what really hit for me? It was the fact that we just had this, fantastic match between the Death Riders and United Empire. And you see somebody like Callum and you see somebody like Will Ospreay. And then you immediately went to Excalibur saying, let's see Kenny Omega's impact on this sport. And it was just proof like, bro, none of this exists. Like United Empire, the Invasion, or the working relationship between New Japan and like, and AEW are the idea of a Will Ospreay, right? Of somebody who wants to bring being the best gaijin over to the United States, who wants to be that global superstar, but not in the way like, like in a WWE way, but in a pure wrestling way of bridging the barriers between these different worlds of pro wrestling.
Oh, he built this shit brick by brick.
Seeing that direct impact, and even seeing like a Callum Newman. Callum is 23, and if he's Ospreay's son, bro, Kenny got grandkids while he's still active and still one of the very best wrestlers in the world. Of just, he is everything. This is the house that he built. And again, this goes back to, and I have nothing against Bryan Danielson. I love Bryan Danielson. He's in my top 10 all-time list. I love Bryan Danielson. But somewhere along the way, I feel when AEW brought in Bryan Danielson, I think that like there was a demotion that occurred and honestly like a lack of focus on just how pivotal and how amazing and how just incredible Kenny is. Like that, like
yes,
Bryan Danielson is a lot of people's
I understand exactly what you mean.
Correct, right? And I think Bryan Danielson is a lot of people's GOAT. But I do think that the reason why he gets the edge for a lot of people is because he had a career in WWE. And I think that that's totally valid. Hell, when he was in WWE, he was my favorite wrestler there. Again, like he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Like you just, I think that he's a perfectly worthy GOAT contender, correct? However, when you think about AEW and why AEW exists and the foundation of AEW and what AEW was built to stand for, Kenny is the GOAT, bro. Like Kenny is everything. Kenny is the bedrock, of everything that promotion is meant to be. And
oh god.
no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna add, and I feel like yes, we say it like when Kenny's a heel, he be talking his shit. He's like, I built this, whatever. It never really like, but even that is in like a humble way. Like even that, like he don't really talk his shit the way he is entitled to. And so I think seeing, like you said, seeing a video package that talks about his impact, but also feeling his hand on everything tonight and being like, oh wow, no, it's not in theory. That's the thing. You know what? I'm gonna say this and people are gonna be like, oh, Danielle, what are you talking about? Like we're gonna talk about my good friend Christopher. So I tweeted this, but I guess tonight was shuffleboard and bingo night because I don't know what was going on with the target age demographics, but oh brother. So Chris Jericho come out there with a live microphone. He started talking, and Chris Jericho gets a lot of credit, and deservedly so, for being so important in the creation of AEW. And you know what? I'm gonna say this actually about Mox in a similar way, right? Like Mox and Jericho get so much, I feel like, respect because AEW would not have succeeded without them in the beginning. That is 100% true. Mox in particular, Jericho was a big star and like whatever, but like Mox in particular, like it's been so integral to every step of AEW that in that same vein, I feel like we give them a lot and we don't talk about Kenny in that same sense, you
Correct.
know? Because people love to credit, and deservedly so. I feel like it's gonna come across weird, but people love to credit like Mox with like being the backbone, being the ace, being the all these things. And yes, he was. But we've said it a million times over, all roads in AEW lead back to Kenny Omega because none of those people would have ever been here without Kenny Omega.
The
None of
whole
these
style, bro. The
no,
whole
genuinely from the
the
very
whole
first show, everything really is about Kenny Omega. Like, who do you think Jericho was beefing with to even get this shit jumping? Who did John Moxley come interrupt at the end of the first time? Like, it's all roads truly lead back to Kenny Omega. And we don't, for as much as he likes to say, like I said, every once in a while, casually, especially when he's a heel, he's like, yeah, I've done so much and like whatever. If you really think about it, we're not giving the day-to-day credit we should be
I
giving.
think also
But
too, look at the archetype of the top guys that have been recruited for AEW. Like think about, you look at a Hangman, you look at an Osprey, you look at, guys like Jay White who come in and they all come in from New Japan. No, I'm just saying, like,
there you go. You just
no,
throwing
no,
his
no,
ass in there.
no, listen. Or David
Whatever,
Finlay,
nigga.
or Gabe Kidd, or there's a reason why New Japan niggas get contracts all the time, bro. There's a reason of Kenny literally built this shit brick by brick. Trios titles. Why do you think those exist? Why do we have those? Kenny being willing at that time, just debuted on national television for the first time and being willing to go straight to the tag division. For the tag division.
That's another thing. It's like on the same way. We talk about the Young Bucks a lot in that same sense, where we credit the Young Bucks with yes, of course. And obviously a lot of that's because you have the EVP gimmick of like, no, they were so formative and everything. None of AEW works, not as a concept, not as a pitch, even. You can't pitch AEW without Kenny Omega. Nobody was going to listen to just Cody Rhodes coming up there and saying, I have an idea.
They
You
said
had no motion.
it was the Kenny versus Jericho match in New Japan that was the catalyst, that really got the wheels turning. And I think also too, bro, Kenny has impacted every single metric on the scoreboard. Singles wrestling, tag team wrestling, trios wrestling, multi-man wrestling as a whole, women's wrestling. He has literally made an impact on every single area of the stat sheet in such a visible way. And it's just kind of like, I know it sounds crazy because obviously, like, I know he's a goat. He's a goat. Like, and even if he's not your goat, you can tell he's one of the goats. But it's crazy how underrated he still is in this promotion that he built.
Exactly. Bring it into his house. Bro. This is literally his house.
And that's why I just have to have faith that I know that even if Tony Khan doesn't listen to, like, to us about this Wembley main event, who I know loves Kenny Omega more than anybody else? Will Ospreay. I know for a fact.
I tell you that right now. William Peter Charles.
When
you go back there, you put that curl cream back in your head, you roll your shoulders back, you knock on your boss's door, and you say, I need to talk to you, bro. Because we have a main event to book, baby.
When Ospreay came back and his first picture he dropped was him and Kenny eating them donuts, I said, you know what? I'm not worried. I said, I'm only going to be but so worried because I know for a fact,
I'm in good hands.
My
agenda's in good hands.
I know you want what I want. He wants exactly what I want. Because here's the thing, bro. I want to see, when I'm thinking stadium shows, I want to see gods collide, bro. I want to see. That's why the all-in main events.
Give me the biggest matches you got.
That's why Texas was so crazy, bro. That triple main event. And I know, like, people are like, well, triple main event isn't a real thing. Like, that was like the realest that a triple main event has ever been, because it was like God versus God versus God versus God. Hangman versus Mox. Mercedes versus Tony. Omega Okada. Like, I want to see Clash of the Titans. Can you imagine, bro? What if they try to get Darby Allin versus Will Ospreay in Wembley?
Oh God! Oh God! Can you imagine you pay $1,000 fucking dollars to get on a goddamn flight? You pay however fucking much for a goddamn ticket. You book a hotel. You stay you booking a fucking Holiday Inn. You gotta get up in the morning, eat the continental breakfast. You go out there. You wait in line at Wembley Stadium. The last match they try to give you before you go home on your 12-hour flight back home. I am storming the ring. There is absolutely no universe in which that is an acceptable scenario. If I'm sitting up there, you realize truly AEW, I've said it about you a million times, how we spend our minutes is how we spend our lives. We are truly working each and every single day, contributing to society in whatever way we do, but we're working, we're paying taxes, right? Like, we're doing our very best to really earn this money in an economy that does not want to see us succeed. Correct. You want me to spend a good amount of my net worth on your biggest show of the year, and the biggest guy you can think to bring me is 2026 Darby Allin. Tony Khan, you and I gonna have to have some words, brother.
Bro, and if you gotta think, if I book the flight 9 times out of 10, nigga, I'm on a payment plan. Like, bro, you mean to tell me I gotta imagine that? Especially,
somebody said eating British food. Come on.
Especially if like imagine if like you took out a payment plan to pay for that flight and like it's not paid off by the time you leave. So, bro, you still got payments left.
Nigga, paying Klarna after seeing Darby Allin in Wembley. Are you serious? This is not of God. This is not of God. That's not an option. That's what you're talking crazy about. Because I need the message to be out there. That's simply not an option, bro. We cannot let that shit happen. Oh my god, you get the afterpay notification. You back at work. And you won't even have no damn pictures. Because if I'm seeing Darby Allin versus Will Ospreay in the main event, I don't need no damn video. What the fuck?
Y'all. The British would have to point me to a capital because I'm a storm it.
I don't know what y'all equivalent is out here. I don't know how you quite do it, bro. But I swear to God, it's not on, mate. It's not on.
King Charles gonna have to hear from me, nigga. I'm telling you.
Hey, no, Elizabeth. Lizzie gonna hear me, bitch, from wherever the fuck she at. She
Girl,
gonna hear
get
me
up.
down there. Hey, get up, girl. We got some shit to handle in your city.
It's a parade inside my city, yeah.
Let's go, Elizabeth. We need your help, darling. Come on, bro.
Hey.
Boy,
Hey.
Darby Allin in the main event.
Close them doors. Open the door. Open the book up.
Please, bro. Please don't take my
We gotta move on, baby. We gotta move. We gotta move on. We're not even supposed to be on here this long.
Oh no.
Willow versus Aminata was amazing. Queen Aminata,
real crap.
Thank you for coming back. The streets needed you, sister.
And you know, Aminata, I've been pushing this agenda for a while, but it's time to hurt people. And seeing her wrestle tonight, I think especially in the back half of that match. First of all, guys, it was time for some Black Girl Wrestling. But the back half of that match, I thought Aminata was fantastic. She's always had like a snap and a bite to her that I think most of the women in the division don't have. And we've said it on this show before. I've said it a million times over. What this division has been lacking is some real serious, dead serious, I want to kill you women. And Queen Aminata has that energy, and I'm just praying that they don't fuck with that. Like, do not mess that up. Do not write her into no silly type shit right now. Do not reduce that in any way, shape, or form. Let her hurt people.
And no, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna go a step further and say this. I think that Queen Aminata deserves a full program with Thekla now that Thekla is world champion.
I would argue that it's actually one of very few programs that makes sense.
Thekla would not be nearly as successful or over right now as she is right now if it was not for the feud she had with Aminata, which is crazy because guess what? That was never supposed to happen. It was originally always supposed to be her and Jamie. And don't get me wrong, Thekla and Jamie do have great chemistry. I think they're going to have a good match this weekend. But what Thekla and Queen Aminata had together was magic. On site, every time they saw each other, it was war.
We need that back. Thekla needs that back. And
a real rival.
Aminata she's earned it.
Correct. I agree. What else happened? Chris Jericho. Y'all
put that on my desk.
Chris Jericho came tonight. I want to say this. I do want to say this about Chris Jericho. Unfortunately, I laughed. I giggled. What you want me to do? I did. I think what was so funny to me personally is Jericho came in there, was like, yeah, I fucked up last time, didn't I, bro? This shit, it was not always good. Y'all got me. Y'all got me. This some of this shit, it was me. It was terrible. He said, I'm not gonna lie, I laughed. He said, you just made the list. The thing is, this is how I know that Jericho is at the end. Is because him and his constant need to try to reinvent himself. He's always tried to do new things, and like he's always been like, I'll never repeat a gimmick, I'll never go backwards. But the fact that he's doing these nostalgia pops, it means like we're probably towards the end. And so if he's just going to play the hits right now and be unoffensive, I'm willing to hear it out. I'm not saying that I like it, but I'm willing to hear it out. If he's on our pro, he flat out said, he said, I don't need to be in the main event on the card or nothing like that. I get it. I get it. I was wilding. I was asking for a little too much.
Here's the thing. Christopher, look at me. I don't believe your ass for half a fucking second.
That is also true. I will say it's hard to believe.
Not believe you to any capacity. That seemed like the promo of someone who just became self-aware like this morning. Like somebody just filled you in the pre-show. Like, hey man, so people ain't really been fucking with everything that you've been doing. Because the thing is about Chris Jericho, and the reason I'm not buying it is because he's been doubling down on everything for so long. No matter how bad. He's like, nuh-uh, you're this is your slop, you're gonna eat it. And guess what? It's gonna main event. And yes, I know you love Bandito and he's young and he's on the come up. However, he's got a feud with me for about 16 years before I decide that he's ready to move on. Right? Daniel Garcia, he's got all this potential. Doesn't matter.
Bro,
right next to me. And I think
who's ever been safe from Jericho is Swerve. That's it.
And I think like the thing with Chris Jericho is that I don't think that he realizes that he has not been a positive for AEW for a while. And it's not been a net positive, brother. And so this promo, you coming out, you're saying, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Some of it's been shit. It's like it feels like, when was that? What, like 2011 when WWE was like, you know what, guys? We know you don't love it. It's not great. But then they didn't change shit. That's correct. Exactly what I'm anticipating out of this. Look, if I laugh
talking to the microphone and say that, yeah, this is so bad. Wow, they do the same thing.
Wow, these ticket prices are this is really outlandish. We're really taking advantage of people.
Hey, bro, I ain't gonna lie. And I know I'm a real hater. But I haven't even had to say anything bad about WWE lately because this WrestleMania.
Y'all say it for him. But my point with Chris Jericho, and I'll keep it brief, is just I don't believe your ass for a second. Three things. I don't believe your ass for a second. Even if I did think it was funny and I laughed, I will never publicly admit that because that's what it means to have an out for life. So even if it perchance did get a giggle out of me, you think I'm gonna come online and say, "Oh, let me give Jericho props right now"? That's not what I do.
You've already told us. I know you giggled when it happened.
That's not what I do.
No, I agree.
Yeah, everybody was sitting up here worried about Ricochet's job, but you really needed to be worried about whether or not he was going to be caught in the Jericho-verse.
You know what?
Now we could argue which fate is worse.
I literally said on this show last week, I said his first program was going to be Ricochet, which is crazy. I'm going to be honest. I need to learn how to use some of these manifestation powers for good, and for myself.
Nigga said Jericho and Jet feud. Do you understand what you just
But
said?
the thing is, it's so scary because I know for a fact. I feel like I know Christopher. I know for a fact. I know who he wants. I know who he wants to work with. I know he saw Kevin Knight and said, "You're gonna do real nice." And the answer
you're not. And look, I'm putting my Secret Service badge on. You will not be getting anywhere close to the Jet. But nowhere near.
I believe that that's where Jet being a Swerve disciple kicks in the sense of you can go laugh on the podcast with Jericho. You can go hang out with him. You don't get no feuds though.
But we're not working.
We're not working.
We're not working.
I think also too, bro. Jericho said, "You see, I done got in good shape for y'all. I look nice." I said, "You know what? You remember his face reminds. It's like I don't know." If like a surgeon really stepped on like the back of his neck and just pulled, like Kris Jenner did and tucked, that face is tucked. I said, whoa, hey man. I ain't mad at it. You know, you do what you got to do. They was because
Double boredom bingo.
the way that they was talking about Jericho on the internet for the longest time, it was nasty. Somebody said that he was built like an air fryer. Somebody said he was built like a baby mama. That it was getting nasty. It was getting nasty. It was getting nasty. Because why would y'all say that? What is that supposed to mean? Why would y'all say that? It was getting nasty, and I think it got so nasty because like he went viral on like non-wrestling Twitter for a minute, and people was like, I ain't seen Jericho in years. Like, when did he get like no, y'all not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. But yes, I think that's all from Dynamite. Kenny Omega is the god of professional wrestling. We'll
Wait, I want to talk 2 seconds. 2 seconds. And we'll end at 12:15, which is later than I'm supposed to. I'm gonna get in trouble. But so that ending promo, that was it was fantastic. The show also ended at 10:27, and I don't think these people realize that their show ends at 10 p.m. And it's funny because I literally tweeted before the show started. I said, guys, what do you think the overrun's gonna be? The closest guess was 18 minutes, and we went beyond that clearly. But I thought it was great. I thought Kenny was fantastic. I thought Kenny was finally talking his shit.
I like seriously, it scares me.
Kenny Omega Glazing Section Part 2.
Like, to love somebody like that, like Kenny, I don't know if I loved it. I don't know how I would go on like and love the game without you. Like, if Tanahashi really did do a lot to hurt me, you know, when he retired earlier this year, but I was like, Kenny's still here. That's what I told myself. I said, Kenny's still here.
But guys, no, let's tweet it, but like, let's no, we need to clean up the searches. Okay, Kenny Omega healthy, Kenny Omega fine, Kenny Omega immortal, Kenny Omega sexy, Kenny Omega world champion, Kenny Omega fun, Kenny Omega married, Kenny Omega boyfriend.
Bro, that nigga Kenny got on there today and said, he said, yeah, you want to talk about Ibushi? Okay, that don't matter. That don't bother me. He said, I'm not ashamed. He said, I'm not ashamed. I said, that's right, ally.
That's right, girl. But you know what gagged me? And when he went on to say, oh, you think it was my diverticulitis? It literally reminded me of, well, you know, maybe you don't know, but when Buck in 911 gets struck by lightning, and after Bobby's like, he's like, wants to go back to work. He wants to go back to work, and Bobby's like, Buck, you died. And he's like, so what? That's what this was. Kenny was like, yeah, I get it. I almost died. Cry me a river. That's funny. That's funny.
He said,
like, come on.
He said, you thought that you were going to use my boyfriend against me? He said, I can only be ashamed if it was a secret.
And you know what? Kenny and I ascribe to the same idea that, like, I can only be embarrassed if I value the opinions of the people trying to shame me. And if you don't,
that's how I talk about Olive Garden.
Okay, what the fuck that got to do with anything?
You know, like when you start trying to shame me, and I'm like, okay, that can't stop me because it only works if I'm ashamed.
Truth is, I'm
okay. Before we head out, we have a super chat.
Oh, thanks. I was also gonna add. Okay. I thought MJF's response to Kenny was very good, but I thought Kenny at the end was better. Kenny Omega GOAT, Kenny Omega GOAT, we love you.
Kenny Omega outmogged, outmeted. It is what it is. Maxwell, you've been doing great. But you're not the guy.
Clean that title over before you slide it across the desk, bitch.
Shade that. And leave that ugly Burberry belt at home.
And make sure you squint when you look up at the lights, because I've heard it can hurt. Somebody said.
At Nightmare Comics 1 gave us $10. Thank you.
Thank you. Guys,
just wanted to send y'all some
all this money. I literally don't get any of the money.
I haven't gotten the first payout yet. Why would you?
She keeps all the money, so. But anyway, Nightmare Comics 1 said, just wanted to send y'all some love. Oh my god, I love you. Since what y'all do with these recap shows, keep rocking, ladies. That's so nice. Do you want my kidney? Somebody on Blue Sky, I forgot Blue Sky existed, but somebody on Blue Sky earlier was like, "Oh my god, like I love the Dynamite Diaries. Like even when I don't watch Dynamite, I watch the Dynamite Diaries." And I'm like, "Really? Why? Why
I
would you
will
do
say,
that?"
you can tell whenever I'm not doing this show, I'm super depressed because I really love doing this show. Actually, and
I don't
even
get it, but
even
like,
if I
thanks,
have
guys.
even if I think Dynamite is trash, because the thing is, we barely talk about Dynamite. We only spend at least about we spend like 30. Like we this show has been 90 minutes today, right? We only spent maybe 35 to 40 minutes of it talking, well, maybe 45 minutes of it we're actually talking about professional wrestling. The rest is people. I've learned that people just want to hear us talk about
I
other
don't
things,
know why,
which makes
but
me
like,
think that,
thanks.
one of these days we need to do like a stream about, like, I don't know, whether it's sports or like other women's sports or like something else, and talk about other things, and scare the normies a bit.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do a PowerPoint night. Teach you guys everything about Formula One.
Wait, we should do that. Wait, hold on. We need to do that because we need to also boost the fundraiser, because which is still going and going.
Oh yeah, we should do that, guys. Yeah, we're still doing our
Yes,
fundraiser.
we should do a PowerPoint night. We'll
We
talk
do it.
about that at
Do
some
it for my
point.
birthday.
Yeah, I think that'd be so fun. A PowerPoint
Digital
party. And
birthday party for Danny.
oh my
But
gosh, can you imagine if we got people to like bring like their own PowerPoint parties, or like their own like PowerPoints?
no,
Like,
I think that would be terrible. It'd be so long.
no, I'm just
I
saying.
also like I have attention issues. I think most people are boring, but like that's really mean to say.
Like, I think we should like invite like Emily to do a Paul and Lovers
Oh,
um
absolutely.
presentation. I think that that would be really fun.
Invite only.
Yes, no, yeah, it'll be invite only. Duh,
That was really
it'll be
mean. I
like
don't
a
want
Paul.
that.
Somebody say y'all are my new goats, and I love y'all. Oh my god, that's so kind. But yes, this is. Don't forget, we still have our fundraiser going on. Pledge.to.
OMG, actually, wait. MKZ, DM me back. Since we're goats and everything, you can be a fellow goat. Come on, Black Girl Wrestling. I didn't mean to call you out like that, but come on, Black Girl Wrestling.
I don't even know who that is. Who's that?
She's a phenomenal indie talent. I've seen her at some Naptown shows. Everybody go follow her. I really didn't mean to blow up your spot.
Everybody clap.
Everybody clap. That's like a little duck, but everybody clap. Last things to say before we part for next week.
Don't forget, our fundraiser is still going. Lyric and Danny's Unfortunately Infinite Birthday Extravaganza that never ends for charity. All the proceeds are going to the Civil Liberties Defense Fund, and
you don't even know.
Who are these? Oh yeah, the National Immigrant Justice Center and the Civil Liberties Defense Center. And so don't forget, these are to help organizations that are doing great work, especially for anti-ICE efforts. And so yeah, we have already raised $600. We are yeah, we're over a third of the way to our goal. And so yes, please.
We've got like, what's that? 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be doing more to boost it in the coming weeks, so make sure that you keep an eye out. I also mentioned now that Black Girl Wrestling is officially monetized, everybody clap. Any proceeds or super chats that are given on Black Girl Wrestling, I will also be donating to this, in addition to personal donations made as well. So we're not just asking you guys to do something we're not going to do. So, but if you also are not a fan of what's going on, I'm trying to be super, super like general and vague because I've gotten in trouble for it. But if you are not a fan of what's going on with the United States of America and the way that it's utilizing its immigration and customs enforcement officers at the moment, please go ahead and try to check out our fundraising link. Okay, we're doing this in an effort to try to demonstrate that professional wrestling can be a vehicle for good. So please, if you are willing and able, go ahead and donate on that link. We will be annoying about it for the next few weeks, but it's for a good cause, okay? Everybody like that?
Willow.
Okay, lyrics, say something witty and fun to finish the night with. Oh, great.
I'm really excited for The Devil Wears Prada 2.
That's okay. That's not that witty or fun. But
oh, it's not. What's witty or fun?
I think that they should I think that if you're the Bachelorette, you should be able to eliminate the contestants Hunger Games style.
Fair. Sounds fun.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
Love you.